Hello everyone. Uh, in today's class, we will discuss about structures of operating system. These structures of operating system will give the complete view of operating systems. That how many operating system structures are there, and what are the works of how it is grown till here. What have done in all these structures? What is the first structure and how it is improved with another structures? Like that, everything will be discussed in structures of operating systems. Operating system can be implemented with the help of various structures. So here we have mainly three types. So that is why it is mentioned here that it is implemented in the with the help of various structures. The structure of operating system depends mainly on how the various common components of the operating system are interconnected and molded into the kernel. Okay, so how these are molded, how these are trained, how these operating system structures overcome the disadvantages, and finally how the structure has come, everything will be there in the structures of operating system. The first one is layered structure. So to discuss about this, I would like to tell one thing, that mainly in the structures of operating system we have three types. The first one is layered structure, and the second one is monolithic operating system structure, and third one is microkernel operating system. Okay. First we will discuss about the layered structure. This is the old structure of the operating system. This is the first structure of the operating system, where operating system is broken into pieces to control the system, and this operating system is broken into number of layers. You can also call it as levels of operating system, and all these levels will be dependent on the lowest level. Okay, means the hardware. All these layers, whatever the layers are there, I will show you the diagram. Okay, these layers will be dependent on the lowest layer, that is the hardware, because hardware is the one which accepts everything by the which accepts everything what user desires to do. So it is dependent on the lower layers of the operating system. These layers are designed in such a way that user can do or implement all the functions by himself, and all these functionalities will be depending on the lower level layers only. And it also simplifies the debugging process. If the lower layers are debugged and an error occurs during debugging, then the error must be on that layer only, as the lower layers have already been debugged. Okay, so the main thing here is a lower layer. Okay, so here layer 0 is nothing but hardware. Layer 1 is kernel, layer 2 is shell, and layer n is nothing but user interface. Why it is said as layer n means any number of users can work there in the user interface by using GUI or anything. Okay, so here layer 0 means hardware system. Hardware system means the main operating system where it has situated. This hardware system is the main thing, because in this hardware system only software is emerged, and then we are using that uh, system, the hardware. Okay, the raw hardware is present in the layer 0. The next layer is layer 1, that is where kernel is situated. As I already told you, kernel is the one which is called as the heart of the operating system, because kernel is the only thing which can uh, shares, or which can um, not translate, but which can moves the data of the user to the hardware, which can implies, or which can supports the user applications, processes or resources to the hardware system. It transports, it shares. Okay, it passes the information of the user. So that is why kernel is called as heart of the operating system. Without kernel, what user wanted to do will not be understood to the hardware. So kernel is the one which tells about the user process to the hardware. Okay, so it is like it will translates, or it will moves the data, or it will pass the data to the hardware system what user wanted to do. Okay, layer 2. In the layer 2, what happens means, layer 2 is nothing but shell. Shell is the place where user can write the code, execute the code, and get the result. Okay, in the shell, user can write the code, execute the code, and he can get the result. So here you can add up any compiler, interpreter, like that. Shell is that type of thing which translates, okay, which translates high level language to the lower level language, and that information will be passed to the kernel, and now kernel will pass that information to the hardware system, and with the hardware acceptance, those all things which user wanted to do in the layer 2, that is shell, will be executed. The final one is layer n, that is user. So that is nothing but user mode. There user can do anything. Just normally creating a file, or everything will be done in the user interface. If you want to execute any program by writing the code, then it will be done under the shell. Okay, this is the layered type of architecture. Okay, layered structure of the operating system. There here OS, complete operating system, will be broken into the layers. With all these layers only, system will run. With the help of all these layers only, user can execute the program, or user can run his process, or he can uh, complete his task. This is the layered hardware operating system. So here the main disadvantage of this structure is, each and every layer have to be informed about the process which is done, and whatever the things which are modified, it becomes a problem, because everything have to be moved, everything have to be shifted to the hardware, everything have to be known to the hardware. So every time kernel have to pass this message to the hardware, so this becomes a overhead. And moreover, careful planning is also needed, because each and every layer can do its task only with the help of lower layers. So that is why whenever any layer have to be added, or any layer has to be used, at that time it has to take care about the lower level layers. So for this, Unix is the best example of the layered structure. Unix is treated as, or called as, layered operating system. Okay, this is about layered operating system. And the second structure of the operating system is monolithic structure. This monolithic structure is also called as simple structure of an operating system, which makes very clearly. Okay, here what happens, only everything will be situated at one place only. There will be no disturbance at all. Okay, all the things will be situated only at one place. Like monolithic is the one of the simple operating system architecture, and it is there from very early times also. Normally, earlier computer system were relatively very uh, uh, hard, means it will be having a simple single CPU and a small memory size with few input and output devices. Okay, to manage all these simple systems, or monolithic kernels were there. In monolithic kernel design also, all the components of the operating system, what are the components we have discussed earlier about the components of operating systems. So all the components of operating systems, like process management, memory management, device management, file management, etc., all the components which are there of the operating system will be integrated under a single unit in the kernel address space only. So all these components will be situated under the kernel address space. User mode, user space is different, and kernel address space is different. So here all these components of the operating system will be situated under the kernel space, and there will be only one code, like only one program, which consists of all routines, subroutines, and everything data which is written and stored in the same kernel address memory only. Only one CPU will be there, that is nothing but kernel. There only everything will be stored, and the components of operating system will use this code or data to provide all the necessary functionalities of the user. Okay, this is different when compared to microkernel operating system structure. That is the third operating system structure, microkernel structure. Okay, in microkernel operating system, minimum software is required to implement. Okay, but here everything will be stored under kernel address space only. All the various components of the operating system will communicate with each other whenever required in order to complete the task which was given by the user, because everything will be under the same memory space and everything will be under the same address. Then every component in the operating system, every process in the operating system, every resource in the operating system have to be communicated with each other. Then only it can execute the process of the user. Okay, Linux, some VMS, OS or 360, these are the examples of monolithic operating system. The structure of monolithic operating system is simply like this. User space will be there, kernel space will be there, first hardware and then kernel space and then user space. In kernel space, all the things related to the operating system will be there. For all those components, device drivers, everything, for all these things, kernel space is used. Only one. And then user. There is only one CPU. Okay. And then users, applications, libraries, file system, interprocess communication, IO and device management, fundamental process management, everything will be present under kernel space only. If user want to execute any of these things, then he have to execute with the help of kernel, because everything will be stored under kernel space only. This is a simple architecture. It is very simple to explain also, because there is nothing to brief about this. There will be only single CPU and hardware system user space. And here kernel will provide various services such as memory management, file management, everything, because all the will be there under kernel only. This also makes the execution of operating system very quite fast, and as the services are implemented under the same address space. As I told you, all these will be present in the same address space. So that is why if you want to execute anything in the operating system, then it will be very fast, because there will be some intercommunication. So it will execute commands or process very easily. This monolithic operating system is also known as the monolithic kernel. Why it is called as monolithic kernel means here kernel acts as the heart of the operating system, and kernel itself is storing everything related to the operating system. That is why it is also called as monolithic kernel. Yes, this is an old type of operating system, and they were used to perform small tasks like batch processing, time sharing tasks, like that. We have also discussed about this batch processing and time sharing in previous videos. You can watch there. And monolithic kernel also acts as a virtual machine which controls all hardware parts. It is the one, kernel is the one which shares the information of the user to the hardware. So it manages everything, it controls everything about the hardware parts. Okay, what is a virtual machine, that we'll discuss, because we have that topic in the operating system, virtual machine. We will discuss more briefly in the next videos. Okay. Coming to the advantages of monolithic kernel, here the execution of the monolithic kernel is quite fast. Why it is quite fast means everything, the code which is accessible to all the components of the operating system will be executed without any restriction there. So when there is no restriction, then code can be executed very fastly, and there will be direct communication will be there between the components like file management, process management, everything. So all these will be there in the same address space. So it is, that's why it makes the system more efficient to work, and it gives a quite fast replies or result. This is the main advantages of monolithic kernel. And here a process will run completely in a single address space, so which makes the system very efficient to work. And monolithic kernel is static single binary file which translates the code. Coming to the disadvantages of monolithic kernel, here what happens, monolithic kernels are more prone to errors and also bugs because user process run in the same address space as of that kernel. So that is why there is a lot of chances of errors and bugs. And also it maintains the code in the same address space, so it becomes little bit difficult. So if any service fail in monolithic kernel, then it leads the complete failure of the operating system. And the code, the portability of the code is also hard because uh, code will be there and the same code will be run in the kernel system, and that same code will work for all the processor. So porting of code is little difficult or harder because of the dependency of the code. And here adding a new service like that, okay, adding, removing, or any feature or functionality in a monolithic system will be difficult because it requires rewriting or recompiling the whole code again. So you cannot do that. It is a little bit, not little bit, it is almost hard to do this. So these are the main disadvantages in monolithic kernel. Yes, there are several disadvantages in layered structure and also monolithical structure, because these are the older structures of the operating system. And say normally once anything is discovered or invented, that time there will be few advantages and also disadvantages. Few other structures of operating systems also came up, which overcome all the disadvantages in the layered and also in monolithic kernel operating system structures. And till now we have discussed about two operating system structures, that is layered structure of the operating system and monolithic kernel structure of the operating system. In next video we will discuss about the third operating system structure, that is microkernel operating system structure. Okay, thank you.